Daily grind, grind, show me the way because the devil trying to bring me down. Daily grind. Ba, 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 be, doo, doo. That was old Kanye. I don't know if I can sing old Kanye anymore. He was
Oh,
canceled.
yeah.
Sorry. Welcome to the Daily Grind and happy Wednesday. I've got a little switcheroony happening today. For those just joining us at home, I'm your host, Luke Hatmaker, and I have Uncle Buck with me on this Wednesday. How are you, sir?
I am lovely here. It's a little dreary up here in North Mississippi. But I haven't seen wet stuff falling from the sky in quite some time, so we'll take it, I guess.
That sounds like a country song. I ain't seen wet stuff falling from the sky in some time. I
I
like it.
can make anything a country song. I think that's one of the pillars of country songs is it's largely about nothing.
Largely about nothing and enjoying it, I believe.
Yeah.
Shout out Wayno joining us at home. Shout out King Meeks. Everybody, we got a show for you today. A good show. Wayno actually might have just predicted what we're going to talk about. I'm going to throw it up there. We're going to talk about not the Olympics, post-Olympics. I want to just talk about briefly, like, who do we think that was on this team that might be able to carry any momentum into the regular season or lack thereof?
Yeah.
Wayno thinks that the Celtics might carry their momentum of not playing to a chip.
I mean, I tend to put more stock into the beef of it,
No
because
question.
I think that's the most obvious. I mean, you're looking at the superstars, the names that you're talking about post Olympics. What we were talking about on Monday. I mean, Steph, LeBron, KD. I mean, what are they really? Are they going to up their game? They're superstars. They're in the pantheon already. They have nothing to prove. They've all got titles, So you start looking at that second tier, and there was just role players. Sure, I could see that. Devin Booker takes his role that his more rounded role and takes that into the Phoenix team that's loaded with superstars now, and learns to kind of facilitate, be a better all around defender. But my first thought was just what Wayno said was like, there's two players, arguably their best two players in Boston, who are both pissed after the Olympics. Jaylen Brown doesn't make the team, and he's mad about it and vocally mad about it. Blaming Nike, but I mean whoever. And then Jason Tatum didn't play, and when he did play, he was terrible.
Not great.
So yeah, there's a lot of motivation there for Boston, and I think that's the most obvious answer. And if you told me they went back to back, they've got the team. They'll always have the team. When they've got those those four guys with Derek White.
Yeah, I think that's the. If you want to take, I don't want to say the negative side, but if you look at the beef, that's the obvious answer for me. I do think that there are three, like you said, Booker. I think if Booker were to, it's tough because you look at guys like Booker and you look at guys like KD. The one reason they're playing this well is because they have an actual team around them.
Right.
Like I would love to see Booker. I love is a strong word. It would be really cool to see Booker continue playing like this, but I don't know if him and Durant aren't going to be playing with that kind of joy in Phoenix. When they're when they got Brad Beal who's helping them instead of LeBron, I just think that they're going to get a little frustrated. When they're dealing with Yusuf Nurkic instead of Joel Embiid, Bam Adebayo, and Anthony Davis. I just think that I think they would be a good guy. I know the Phoenix over-under was one that we were all worried about. The way that they played would lead me more inclined to do the over. But still, I just don't think, it's right here. Wayno just said it. They're going to go from having three of the best bigs in the game to Nurkic, who is good when he can stay healthy. But, I just don't know if that's going to
kind of the nature of the beast, though, too. I mean, when you're playing the Olympics, that, it's like going to, the last week of summer, you take a big vacation to the beach with all your friends, and then you go back to school and you're just like, this sucks.
Awful.
Some of my friends are here, but it's definitely not as fun as what we were having last week, and that's what it is. And honestly, the thing with Phoenix for me too is, I wanted to pick Devin Booker, for the reasons that we've outlined. He was the epitome of a selfless basketball player
Yeah.
during the Olympics. And I was like, if he could take that into Phoenix, that there's enough superstars around there that he could really make a huge difference in the style of play. But we forget that they just signed Tyus Jones, who is doing exactly that.
Yes, that's what
He-
he is supposed to be doing for that team.
So I don't know that role really matters for him. I think he needs to go shoot the basketball and demand the ball.
Yeah.
Bradley Beal's the one that's in the way, not Booker.
It's interesting. Like if I were to, we're talking about beef. If I'm KD and Booker, would you be a little I mean, would you think you'd be more prone to frustration after this? Because
I think Kevin Durant's always prone to frustration.
always prone to frustration.
Always.
Man, it's interesting because I just don't. I really don't. Do you think they're playing main? Do you think they're going to play mad? Do you think they're going to, like, based off of all of this, do you think that they're going to, I'm trying to think what the word is. Do you think that they will request trades, or do you think do you think they will outwardly complain because they're going to playing with some of the best in the world to playing with guys like they're going to be able to field like 6 guys and that's it?
I don't. I think, this is Durant's third gold. I mean, this isn't anything that's new.
Yeah.
And Durant's always kind of his predisposition is pretty pessimistic anyways.
All the time.
But they just ran out of coach. They just brought in Budenholzer. Like, I don't know. I think you kind of go back into training camp with an extra bounce in your step. Like, yeah, I didn't just go to Turks and Caicos and stay in the gym and eat ice cream and train and whatnot. But I went to Paris and came home with gold. We dominated the world in basketball. And I think that, honestly, if anything, provides you an extra bounce in your step, an extra point of pride in your game. And so, yeah, you get there and maybe you do try to be a better teammate because that's what everybody had to be for that team to get along and to succeed in the Olympics.
I'm so glad you said that because that's the point. Like this, for KD specifically, I think the potential is there to really make Phoenix a little bit more dangerous. Like, should him and Booker be like, we can be better teammates.
Right.
If they come out of this deciding to be better teammates, that would suck because Phoenix would be better.
I was never really down on Phoenix because mainly the reason why is because I felt like they won more games than I thought they did last year.
Yeah,
like
they did.
my preconceived notion of Phoenix was my first thought about Phoenix when we talk about the 23-24 team. Well, then they got swept in the first round by the Timberwolves. But their regular season was better than that. They dealt with injuries all year long. They still got to 50 wins. And so that's why when their number came out, I was not hammering the under on that because I do believe in them a little bit because, I mean, shoot, we just saw it.
50 wins is a lot.
Kevin Durant is the best offensive basketball player that's ever stepped foot on the hardwood.
Yeah. And he's still, at his age, he still is.
Yes.
It's like, it's amazing. Should he come out of this somehow better with like a better mindset than he was beforehand?
They're the one seed in the West. I mean,
shoot, Wayno's talking about Bogdanovich over here. Got me sidetracked.
He's going to play in Italy next year.
There are two other. No, he ain't going to play. There are 2 other guys that I'd like to mention before we transition into something else. And we kind of mentioned Minnesota, which we talked about the Suns getting swept by Minnesota. I could see Ant taking the experience of playing with the best players in the world and really being a threat next season.
I do too. That's one that's up there because for a young guy, you always want to add new experiences. I think it's a pretty popular belief, and I subscribe to it, that in order to be great and to win a championship, you've got to get knocked down a lot. You've got to be in these nip tuck games and these wars and lose.
Yes.
And so the Anthony Edwards experience at the Olympics was very up and down. I think to start the whole thing, he was starting, and then by the championship game, he didn't play very much. And so, but you're also rubbing shoulders with, I mean, how many times does he get to spend 3 weeks next to LeBron James, and just
Never.
soak
Zero.
up LeBron James? And whether you love him or hate him, I mean, he's a basketball savant, and he's arguably the greatest basketball player of all time. I mean, it's a two-man race. So,
Yes.
I mean, so I think that it's great for Ant. Now, Ant's one of those that, he runs hot too, know.
Yes.
And so if you're talking about injecting one of these players from the Olympics into a team setting in which it may not work, like it may get a little fiery, Ant to me is the obvious option because remember who's on his team?
I was gonna say
Rudy Gobert
and Cat, two dudes who aren't known for being like fiery guys necessarily,
And Anthony Edwards is,
yes.
and probably to a fault. He's got that little Jimmy Butler in him, I believe, where if he will let you go until you fight him, like he will not let you go if he gets you in his grasp. And I just don't know that would play well with Gobert. If you're just, can you imagine the first day at training camp? Anthony Edwards walks in with his gold medal and tells Rudy Gobert that he wasn't even good enough to play for his home team in his home country. Like, that's going to happen. Just is.
Oh man, you hate that, man. I do think it's interesting because if Ant is the one that walks in and he's like, "Hey man, I just won gold. This team needs to step it up." Could go pretty sour, like, and I think you're right about he might have the highest probability of on this team of guys that take.
I think he should do that.
Yes,
he should. He needs to be the leader of that team.
Yes.
The problem is not him doing that. It's that he's surrounded by 7-foot softies that can't take that.
Yes. I think that a lot of guys on this team are going to react well to that. Like guys like oh my God, what's this?
Like Naz Reid,
McDaniels,
Jaden McDaniels.
Yeah. Those dudes they'll be like, hell yes.
Right.
If he can get Cat and Rudy on board, which will probably not happen, then Minnesota's going to be scary. Which let's transition. Which we're going to transition into the group play. They announced yesterday, the NBA announced their group play schedule for the NBA Cup. Excuse me, the Emirates NBA Cup. I guess that's part of the name now. I don't know when that happened, but it was all over the place.
I guess they've also sold out.
It's just like WWE. But the West group play is rough. It is. You want to talk about a bloodbath for us. Group C in the West is going to be tough.
It is, because I don't know that you've got the Western Conference champions. You've got Dallas.
Yep.
You've got the previous year's champion in Denver.
Yep.
And then you've got Steph Curry. And then
Zion.
I think most people kind of put Memphis maybe a step above New Orleans, but they're kind of in the same bracket, like same tier, I think, by public opinion anyways.
Yes.
We don't believe that, but
no.
But the problem I have with our bracket is nobody sucks,
They're all good.
And I think we're probably the victim because I think these go by like last season's standings.
Yeah, I think so.
And so we were the team that sucked. We were supposed to be the gravy boat, that everybody picked off. We were supposed to be, in Group A, you've got Minnesota, Clippers, Kings, but then you've also got Rockets and Blazers. Yeah.
And Jazz and Spurs and the other one.
And we're just not going to be.
No.
So I don't think there's a world beater there. Like I don't think we've got, I'd feel much worse. I don't feel like any of these teams are as good as, say Minnesota or Oklahoma City.
No.
So,
but they're all good. They're all
good.
Like you could put, if you were looking at the West, you could very easily say,
I think we're the deepest.
You could say that after Oklahoma and Minnesota, the 5 best teams in the West are in the Group C. You could argue
Yeah.
that. You know, you could.
I do. I am kind of a hater on Golden State. I'm
Yeah.
on the under for them.
Yeah.
I just think that everything that they've done has made me feel less enthusiastic about it. You know, they came out and said, okay, well, no, we're not going to trade for Lauri Markkanen. We're good. Or
Yeah.
we're not going to do this. They've came out with several reports saying, oh, we're not going to
We're
pursue
not.
this good basketball player in a trade. And I'm just thinking the whole time I was thinking, like, if I'm Steph Curry, I was like, this is not what I want to hear, that we're not doing anything. Brandon Podziemski is the answer. And I'm just like, you know. So I think they're going to be down, but you'll never suck as long as you've got Steph.
Clearly. I mean, after the way he just played in the Olympics, that's the thing. Like, even though they're down, he's still capable of that. You know?
Yeah. Who I think, and I was looking to find the games. So the home and away, I guess, is what I'm looking at.
Oh, yeah. So we got
we play
Denver and New Orleans at home.
Denver and New Orleans at home, at Dallas, at Golden State. So that's fine. I honestly like the New Orleans game at home. I wish that Golden State was at home, because those two teams have a little extra juice when they come to FedEx Forum.
Yes.
With the Zion Williamson Ja thing, and then just the long history of Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah. I do think I'm going to put this up there. Shout out Buckets. He looks like Memphis has odds plus 3,300 to win the cup. I've seen a lot of outlets actually predicting. I mean, I say a lot. Fresh off the top of my head, Bleacher Report has already reported they've got Memphis winning the title, or winning the cup, and Ja being the cup MVP. I
mean, I'm in on that. I know I saw Kendrick Perkins say that. You know, he picked them to win it. I just don't know what goes into the calculus. I mean, last year you saw the finals being the Lakers and the Pacers. And so with that being the very first year that it's happened, it kind of makes me wonder, like, is there something special that goes on? You obviously have to care about that cup.
Yes.
You can't think of it as a mid-season annoyance, you know.
Yeah.
You've got to really care about it. And that's what you got out of Indiana and the Lakers last year.
Almost to a fault. I mean, like, Hallie wasn't the same player after
he forced his way through injury, and then it just kind of hampered the rest of his season.
We do know that this Grizzlies team is good at compiling regular season wins. So if anything else, if they look at this as additional regular season wins, they should be pretty good. Our group draw is the toughest out of the East, out of the West. It's just tough. It's like the death group, if you want to call it that. Like, it's just going to be brutal. And if all these teams are in a vacuum, if all these teams are good, Group C in the West is nightmarish.
I just don't. You're going to have surprises being better and worse than what you think. So one of these teams is likely going to be bad. You know,
there's a good team that Denver rolls up, and they're a Jamal Murray injury away, and they're out.
Right. Or I've said it before, Jokic has never been hurt. I mean, there's almost like Steph Curry could get hurt. Shoot, knock on wood, we saw what happened last year with Ja Morant getting hurt and suspended. Like my point is not that Ja's injury prone or anything like that, but things happen, and the standings, even by mid-season tournament time, will not be exactly what you think they're going to be.
Nope. There's always surprises. There's always teams that were good last year that fall off. There's always teams that weren't, that get better. It's the calculus of the league. It's how it happens.
And I want to be pissed off for a second. I don't know if you've looked. So they released opening night games.
Mm-hmm.
And then they released Christmas Day games.
Yeah.
Did you see these?
Yeah. I didn't see opening night. I saw Christmas Day.
Yeah. So opening night, Knicks Celtics. Okay. That's your marquee game. I mean, that's two huge markets, two of your biggest markets. Then they put Timberwolves at Lakers as the late game. And that in itself, okay, you know, Minnesota did not make the finals. I want Dallas in there. I feel like they're owed that for opening night, you know?
Yeah.
I'm so ready. If there's one good thing about LeBron retiring, I hope they just take the Lakers off of national television.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to watch a Lakers squad that probably isn't going to be that good on opening night against
but then compare that to Christmas Day. Lakers at Golden State.
Yeah.
San Antonio at the Knicks. Minnesota against Dallas. And the Philadelphia 76ers versus the Boston Celtics, and Phoenix versus Denver.
Denver.
Okay. So if I'm Oklahoma City, I am pissed.
Yep.
Like there's so many, like San Antonio, they're picking these because of Wemby. Wemby is probably one of their largest television draws ever.
Yes.
But at some point, like Oklahoma City, you're the 1 seed. You made it to, I guess it was just the second round, wasn't it? When they got put out by Dallas. But like, have some respect, I guess. Like, and I just don't want to say.
We got a Christmas Day game after the season similar. We got it. We were rewarded with one.
Right. And maybe I'm talking myself out of this argument already, but Memphis got a Christmas Day game because of Ja Morant.
Yep.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander finishes second in MVP. They finished the 1 seed in the West, and they don't get Christmas. They don't get opening night. They're going to feel slandered.
Yeah. I mean, maybe if SGA would have done better in the Olympics, maybe if they would have done better in the Olympics, it would be different. I don't know.
And then Christmas Day, we'll have the Lakers, who bounced in the first round. The Warriors, who did they make it to the play-in, or did they get bounced? Would they even make the play-in? Either way, that's the point. Spurs, who were terrible, 4th pick in the draft. Then
like
Minnesota, Dallas, Philly, and Boston. But
it's like half good teams, half teams that will have a draw just based on the name, and half teams that are actually good and deserve to be there. It's kind of a
if the Los Angeles Lakers played ball in Dubuque, Iowa, no one would even turn their games on.
You made that town. That's not a real town. You made that town Dubuque.
Dubuque.
Shout out Dubuque if you're listening. I'm sorry. We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna draft some stuff. I believe the schedule is going to be announced. The full schedule is going to be announced tomorrow, I believe. So we'll be talking about that more this week. We'll have more info coming out. It's just they're giving us little breadcrumbs till then. We got Christmas Day, we got opening day, now we got NBA Cup. So we'll be talking schedule all week. But when we get back, we're going to draft some stuff because it's a Wednesday, and on Wednesday it's draft day, not the movie. Right after, gavel, gavel, gavel. Right after this.
One of the questions as far as my writings for the Wizards was, what's going to happen with Tyus Jones? And I kind of was able to narrow it down. He had 3 teams that he was primarily looking at, and that were the Memphis Grizzlies, the Phoenix Suns, and the Atlanta Hawks. From my understanding, Memphis they offered him more money. Memphis offer was somewhere around $5 to $6 million, but they wouldn't have given him an opportunity to start. And I believe that was something that was really important for him.
I'm not saying that what you're saying isn't true, but I don't think the Grizzlies actually made a serious run at Tyus Jones. And at that number, I don't even consider that serious. You know what I mean?
A lot of people in Memphis didn't really want to believe that the Grizzlies were interested in Tyus Jones. And I think from what I saw on the internet, a lot of that has to do with you guys' expectation of what Scottie Pippen Jr. is going to be. The Memphis Grizzlies very much like Scottie Pippen Jr., but I'm also here to tell you they went out and tried to get a backup point guard.
Tune in to The Anthony Sane Show, Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Representing your country and winning, I think I'd black out on the podium. Because when I watch these people whose names I won't remember a week from now, and they're on the podium and they have tears and I start crying because I'm like, what a moment for this person. I'm getting a little nervous talking about it right now, BK.
I would shed 3 tears.
Oh.
I wouldn't be nose running crying. Not that crying. There's levels to this crying game. There's
shoulder shaking.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Even when the tears stop, you still like, that's when you used to get in trouble though. Your parents used to give you, that's when you used to get beaten.
You stop.
Yes, you better stop crying.
Exactly.
But that's it, that bottom lip.
I'm not crying.
Right, yeah. I would definitely be up there. I would cry.
Tune in to the Night Court Podcast with your hosts, Rob Fisher and Brevin Knight, on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Well, Welcome back to the Daily Grind. Welcome back, y'all. You can catch that show. That was Night Court. It was also Anthony Sane Show. You can catch $2 Sports Show. That will drop on Friday. Jess Benson Show's happening right now over at Grind City Media. We've got Grizz 901's coming back. We got No Bluffing drop this week. We got a whole lot of shows. Stuff for everybody. Tigers Untapped. If you like college stuff, just go check it out. BluffCityMedia.co. Back to our show. On Wednesdays, we draft stuff because there's a bunch of stuff out there and there's a bunch of stuff to draft. It's draft day, not the movie. Draft day, not the movie.
Not the movie.
Not the movie, not the weird Kevin Costner movie. Love Kevin Costner, bad movie. Today, in honor of the new Alien movie coming out, and shout out Wayno. I saw yesterday or Monday you showed your kid Alien for the first time. Proud of you. I hope it scared him. We are going to be drafting sci-fi movies. This new one looks scary. I love aliens. I love space. I'm going to go to space someday. Even if I have to sneak aboard a ship, I'm going to go. Heads or tails?
Tails.
Damn it. I can never win.
Won?
I can never win a dang coin toss. Okay. So you will go first.
Okay. So there were some that were just like immediate. And I'm sure you had the same. And I'm sure ours are very different because like there was not I lived a sheltered life growing up. Okay. I'm from your typical Baptist Mississippi family, you know. The positives and negatives are well documented. But I did not watch scary movies as a kid, you know. And I don't really enjoy them as an adult. I like suspense, but I don't like scary. So like Alien, Predator, they got ahead of me. Like they got too far out for me. I never want to watch anything unless I can watch all of them. There's too many now.
There's way too
overwhelming.
Way too many.
And so I just have never started. But that being said, there was most of these movies are movies that my dad showed me. And so there was some in this vein that was like that were sci-fi, that were something, because all I watched was sports anyways. So any of these movies he showed me were like anything that I wouldn't have watched on my own. So the first one, long story short, the first one is Signs.
Oh man, so I watched it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and it's the first scary movie, quote unquote, and it's not a horror movie by any stretch of the imagination. First scary movie I've ever seen. First alien I saw on TV. It was terrifying. You're talking about just jumpy, edge of your seat, suspense. Like I'll never forget when he cut those aliens' fingers off, and it stuck with me because I mean I was probably not old enough to watch it, but it was watched.
One of the single scaredest I've ever been is that there's that weird like handy cam footage from that movie of the birthday party, and then you just see the alien just walk across the screen. I still crap my pants, dude. That scares the crap out of me. And it's just he's just walking. He's walking.
And M. Night Shyamalan was like peak of powers then. Like everything he made, like after The Village, I could never watch again and be fine.
Same,
but,
man. I did not like The Village.
Oh, I love The Village.
Oh,
that was
we can talk about that another day.
And it's my dad got an M. Night Shyamalan kick. And so it just it's one of those things that it's just like a moment in my childhood that I'll always just kind of go back to.
Love it. I love it. That's a good pick. And that's so fresh. I mean, I love that movie. That's one that I think we have it. That's one that we have like within reaching distance on our video shelf that I love. I just like, let's pop that in. Let's watch. I love when Mel Gibson goes, "Stop crying," he yells. And it's like, okay. I'll go. Okay. I got two. This feels like I have to do. I'm going to do Empire Strikes Back. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. And I've heard Luke, I am your father more times than I care to count. I just feel like I have to. I like it.
That is your free space for sci-fi movies.
Exactly. Free space. Being free space in the bingo. Number 2, I am going to do Aliens, not Alien. So the second Alien movie, which is more action. It's less scary. The first one is terrifying. The first one is more just like, and it's got game over, man. Game over. Aliens, man. And so I'm shout out Bill Paxton. I love Aliens. So I'm going to do that.
Yeah. I watched, speaking of Bill Paxton, I watched Tombstone last night.
Oh, dude.
And Twisters has come out. And it's just, 2024 has just been like a big Like R.I.P. Steve Paxton for me. Like,
Yes, same. Because man, we need to watch Tombstone soon. I'll
Yeah.
be yes.
so my next one, another movie I watched with my father. I mean, we watched all of these, but the best one is I reference the line a lot. Ronald Reagan.
Ronald
the actor, Back to the Future.
Yes.
Marty McFly and Doc Brown.
Yes.
Just a great show. A great movie that holds up. I always
Yes.
love watching like 80s movies that depict 2020 as something that, as we're sitting here, just like, yeah, that didn't happen.
It's like watching the Jetsons and it takes place in 2004 and you're like, what?
Right.
Excuse me?
Yeah, we're still here on Earth, only exclusively on Earth.
We don't have floating houses or cars.
Come on, Elon.
Come on, Elon, get it together. You get one more. You get back.
Yeah,
to
I
back.
get one more. Okay. So box office smash. James Cameron's
Ah,
seminal work, Avatar.
yep.
I think it's one of the greatest movie experiences that you can have. Just you're talking about in the theaters, in the IMAX, just the visual effects, everything that went along with Avatar was top notch.
Man, I remember seeing that in theaters, and when one of the weird creatures like flies around you, I remember being like, "What the?" I thought it was actually in there because it was
Yeah.
so immersive. It was that movie's both those movies are incredible viewing experiences.
Right.
Like they're
Right.
wonderful. Okay.
Right.
My turn. I'm gonna do animated here.
Okay.
Wall-E. I love
Uh,
Wall. I love it, man. And I just that was bad.
I'm gonna have to watch that back.
Ah!
I'm running through all of these now, and so like anything that I missed as a childhood, I have a 2-year-old now. And so,
Oh,
like, I'm going to watch all of them. I have a feeling Wall-E would just get frustrating for me
yeah.
because all I hear is I hear it from the kitchen, like I hear background noise, and like I love musicals for that reason. I told my wife, I was like, I can't wait till she gets out of the animated phase. We're going to slap on The Greatest Showman all day long, just because it's something I would like to listen to from the next room.
Yes.
Wall-E from the next room would just be annoying. It's like a screensaver.
It's
Like
a silent movie for the first half. There's just no
know.
words. It's just like
I know. Yeah,
Shout out
would
Wall-E,
just be annoying.
Second choice. This is a little lesser known, maybe lesser known. I love this movie. It's kind of independent. Came out maybe 10 years ago. It's called Moon, and it's directed by David Bowie's son. And it's got one actor in it, and that's it. It's just one actor on the moon, on a space station on the moon. It's Sam Rockwell, and it's things aren't always what they seem. I'll just leave it at that.
Sam Rockwell. Okay.
It's good. It's just him on the moon.
Yeah, I would I'd be very honest with you. I would never I wouldn't have picked that one. I've never heard of it. But I'm gonna watch it now.
It's a tough watch too. If you get a little unnerved, it's like it gets a little spoopy.
It's
not scary. It's just like
from somebody who was raised by David Bowie.
Raised by David Bowie and on the moon alone. Just think about what that's going to do for you.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I've got 2 picks left.
Mm-hmm.
And I only wrote down 5 movies, so I'm going to get everything that I wrote. Okay. So, because I'm a patriot, Independence Day.
Yeah, baby. Welcome to Earth.
That came out. We started talking about that a lot. Around Independence Day, United States Independence Day, it always comes back around. And so, yes, Independence Day. Yep. It's great.
One of the best things ever is when Randy Quaid flies that plane up into the spaceship. Hey, boys!
Yeah, he's great.
He's great.
Cousin Eddie saving the world, taking one for the team is just the greatest.
With Cousin Eddie, one of the single hardest I've ever laughed in my entire life is when he goes, when Snot is humping Chevy Chase and he goes, sometimes it's better just let him finish.
You don't want him around when you got short pants on.
Yes.
Roll over and let on Clark see what you working with.
Yes.
Got a little Mississippi leg hound in him. I can go all day. All right.
Greatest movie character ever. Uncle Eddie.
All right. My last one, space movie. It's my favorite space movie. We're talking about in orbit space movies, Interstellar.
Oh man.
McConaughey. It's great. And it's got that weird little wrinkle in it. I love Christopher Nolan. It was great.
Man, for some reason the planet that is only water, and there's that wave that just like goes around it, and it's huge.
Uh-huh.
That scares me so bad. To this day, I find that scene where they're on the planet, you're like, oh, this is nice. It's just water. And then you see the wave that
just ankle deep water, and then here comes the tsunami. Like
I'm just
yeah,
like,
that's
can we
terrifying.
go? Can we
Yeah.
go now? I don't care anymore.
Right.
Let Earth die. If this is our only option, let it die.
And there's just so like the stakes in time travel or in planetary travel. You know, you look at it in that movie where it's like, okay, you got to go, but when you come back, everybody's dead. And the same thing with what's the it was not as critically acclaimed, although I did like it. The Chris Pratt, Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh
where
yeah, Passengers.
Passengers. That was
Yeah.
another great movie. But
Cool
it's
movie.
like, yeah, we're gonna put you to sleep here in this hyperbaric chamber, and you're gonna wake up in 2,000 years, and everything you know and love is dead.
Hope it's cool.
But have a fun life. It's like I don't know if I could take that. That stresses me out. That decision stresses me out.
Space is stressful. Space is stressful. Look, my last pick, I'm gonna go with a classic. I'm gonna go with Blade Runner, the first one. I love it. It's there's been like 47 cuts. I do like the Fifth Element, Wayno. I see that, but might have been the first time I saw three boobs was in the Fifth Element. Three boobed lady, kind of weird.
It's one of those things. It more is not necessarily better.
Yeah, good point. But Blade Runner is great. Blade Runner is great. It's Harrison Ford. I got 2 Harrison Ford movies, pretty solid. So, dude, and sci-fi is just great. I love it. As a kid growing up with the name Luke, I just had to like. It's like, well, Total Recall. There's just so many good ones. So many good ones. Let us know your favorite sci-fi movies in the comments, in the chat. If let us know. I want to know because I love it. It's a great genre. We will post our results up to the X today, and you can tell us who won. This one might be a little closer than last week when I just toasted Rusty.
You've got better competition this week.
I do have better competition. Oh, shoot. Sorry, Rusty. I know you're watching.
Somehow Rusty lets you have Michael Phelps and what was it, Simone Biles?
And the curling team.
Yeah, he's just an idiot.
Shout out, Rusty. We love you. That's going to do it for our show today. Thank you for hanging out with us. Go check out Jess Benson. She is on the right now over at Grind City Media. Have a great Wednesday. I'll be back tomorrow. Uncle Buck may be back with me later this week. We'll find out. If I can leave you with 2 things this week, remember just to be a little weird. It's important. And remember to smile. Have a good day, everybody.